Hello everyone, welcome back to the HTML and CSS Bootcamp series. Today is lecture 12 and today we will learn about JavaScript, variables, data types and objects. First we will create a file named index.html and we will write the basic structure and set the title as variable data types. In the body, we will link our JavaScript file. But first create a JavaScript file named script.js. And in the source attribute write its name to link it, which is script.js. Now go to script.js and write console.log, and inside it I will write hello world. Save it and check in the browser. The title is changed. Now go to inspect and in the console you can see hello world is written there. Now we see that we can create anything we want in console.log, but let us check if we can add any two variables in it as well. For that write var var, which stands for variable. I will name my variable a and let me give it a value of 3. A is equal to 3. And then I will write b is equal to 4. Now write console.log and inside it add a plus b. Save it and check. You can see it adds those numbers in console.log. So using variables you can add, subtract and perform multiplication and division in console.log. Now there are rules for assigning values or naming your variable. A variable should be in a string name. You can't use any numbers before a string when naming a variable. Otherwise it will not be declared as a variable. Now with the same method we can also perform multiplication. Just write console.log a multiply b. Save it and check. It multiplied the numbers. Similarly, let's perform a division. A divided by b. Save it and check. It also performed the division. Now we have learned how to use variables in JavaScript. Next we will see what is the use of data types. There are a total of 7 important data types uses in JavaScript. Number 1 is numbers. Numbers represent both integers and floating point numbers. Now what are integers and floating point numbers? Integers are basically numbers without any decimal point, and floating point numbers are those with the decimal points. For example, if I write any number without a point, it will be considered as an integer. If I write a number with a point in it, it is known as a floating number. Now next we have a string. A string is any alphabetic word and we write it in a double quotes. For example, you can also write it in a single quote, double quote, or even for example you can write it in a single quote, double quote, or in a brackets, as you can see in the examples. Next we have boolean. A boolean basically has two values, true or false. For example, if I have a website where I have to type a password to enter, if a person uses the wrong password, it shows false. And if the password is correct, true, he can enter the website. For this purposes, we use boolean. Next, we have undefined. Undefined represents a variable that is declared but not assigned any value. Next, we have null. Null represents the absence of any object value. For example, we write a variable and assign it to the null value. It means we intentionally give it a null value. Then next we have big integer, big int. The big int data type is used if we want to store a large number. For example, you can see how big the number is that we want to store. So we can store it using the big int data type. Next and last we have symbol. A symbol represents a unique identifier. Any unique ID that we want to store, we can store it using symbol. For example, we will write it as constant ID is equal to symbol, and in it I write unique ID. So these are all the data types we use in JavaScript. Now lastly we have object. What is an object? An object in JavaScript is like a container that holds different pieces of information about one single thing. For example, let me explain it using an example. Declare a variable let o is equal to, and in curly brackets I will write name colon Aisha. Now if I write console.log o, save it and check, it shows the object and inside it is name Aisha. So this is how you can create any object and call it. Why are objects and methods used? Objects and methods are used because they help us organize and structure our code, making it easier to read, write and manage. Instead of having a bunch of separate variables and functions that are hard to keep track of, you can group everything related to a single thing. This makes the code more logical and reusable. We will see this further in the next lecture and discuss it more in depth. Till then, keep practicing and I will see you in the next lecture. Bye.